The World of Warcraft Mount Farm World Tour is back. We're continuing it with the next episode, which is going to be covering the mounts that you can find in Outland. And if you haven't seen this series before, I would recommend checking out the other episodes that cover Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor. There's a lot of mounts covered in those episodes, so you're missing out if you haven't seen them. There'll be a link down in the description below and a pop-up now if you want to check them out. As mentioned in this episode, we are going to cover the mounts you can get from Outland. The first stop on our tour of Outland is going to be Shadowmoon Valley, and there we're going to be able to get the Neverwing Drakes. This is going to give 6 mounts in total, and honestly the Neverwing Drakes still look pretty damn good, considering they were introduced in the Burning Crusade, which was a pretty long time ago now. I think they've held up really well and still look pretty good for today's standards, so in my opinion definitely a cool mount to go and get. To get started with this, you'll want to head to Shadowmoon Valley as mentioned, and off in the southeast area you'll find an NPC called Mordonai. He's just kind of to the right of the Sanctum of Stars. You'll go speak to him and he will have a quest chain for you to work through. So you'll go through the quest chain, you'll aid the Neverwings, and you'll be gaining reputation with the Neverwings as well. Basically our overall goal is to gain reputation with the Neverwings. Once we get exalted we'll be able to get the Drakes. But before we can get to that point, we're doing this quest chain to unlock the dailies, but more importantly, the repeatable hand-in quest for Neverwing eggs. So work through this quest. There are certain bits that can be a little bit bugger, so if you do get stuck on a quest I would recommend just checking out Wowhead, or I do have previous videos on this as well if you want a bit more detail. Work through the quest chain and eventually you'll end up at Neverwing Ledge, where you'll unlock the dailies and you can start working through the dailies. You'll also get a quest to hand in a Neverwing egg, which will give you 350 reputation. And then from there you can find Neverwing eggs all around Neverwing Ledge, and also a little bit more north where we were questing previously. And there's also an add-on that I'll link in the description below that will help you find the Neverwing eggs a little bit easier. But they are hidden around, so you want to be keeping an eye out for them. And every time you hand one of those in, you'll get 250 reputation. So you could technically grind your way to Exalted, but it is still going to be quite a time dump, so do keep that in mind. I would recommend doing a good balance of finding eggs and doing the dailies. Once you do hit Exalted, you're going to be able to come back. You'll get a quest that will send you off to pick one of the Drakes for free. You'll get the Drake that you want for free, and then you'll head back to Neverwing Ledge, and there'll be Drake Dealer Holunk who will sell you the 5 that you're missing. So at the end of all of that, you're going to end up with 6 Neverwing Drakes for your mount collection. The next stop on our tour is going to be Terrica Forest, and the first mounts we're going to get from there are the Never Rays. There's going to be 5 Never Rays in total. And to get these you need to be exalted with the Shatari Skyguard. This is a reputation grind, but it's a repeatable one, so you could grind it out in a day if you wanted to. It's fairly lengthy but definitely doable in a day, but you can split it up over a few days and get it done that way. Now to get started you'll want to head over to Sketis in Terrica Forest. It's kind of in the southeast, and just a little bit north up the stream you'll find a little camp where the Shatari Skyguard are, and you'll be able to start the quest chain. So you need to do the quest chain to start out, you need to complete the whole quest chain, and you'll get the first quest from Severin, which will be World in Shadows. This quest chain will also essentially teach you how to do the repeatable grind as well, so make sure you're working through this quest. And there is one notable part. There'll be a bit where you need to kill these kind of 3 named Arakoas, and one of them will drop a quest item that you need to pick up and use. So do make sure you do that, otherwise you'll be stuck and you won't be able to continue on the quest chain. So do make sure you're looting everything as you go along. But work through the quest chain and you'll need to kill mobs and collect shadow dust. And you'll hand that in and you'll get an elixir to see extra mobs. And then you'll find these extra mobs, they're called like time loss something. Killing these will allow you to collect time loss scrolls. You need to collect 40 time loss scrolls. And then you can hand them in to be able to summon these 4 mini bosses. And then you'll kill the 4 mini bosses, you'll get more items from them, which you can hand in again, and then you'll be able to summon a kind of boss called Terrica and kill him and you'll get another chunk of rep. And all of these steps give you reputation once you're done with the quest line at least. So you essentially just work through the quest chain, get it all done, and then once you're done you can start repeating and basically collecting the dust, turn the dust in for the elixir, use the elixir to kill time loss mobs, kill the time loss mobs, collect the scrolls, use the scrolls to summon the mini bosses, which you can find at these like purple crystals, kill the 4 different mini bosses, hand in their items, and kill Terrica. And you repeat those steps over and over again once you're done with the main quest line. Keep repeating that over and over again until you are exalted. Once you are exalted in that same area where the Shatari Skyguard are, there'll be a reputation vendor, like a quartermaster, and you'll be able to purchase your mounts. And then you'll have your new 5 Never Ray mounts to add to your collection. We're not quite done in Terrica Forest yet though, as our next mount is going to come from Auchendoon. So you're going to head over to Auchendoon, and there in the East Dungeon you'll find Sephic Halls. Make sure you're on Heroic difficulty, as running this dungeon is going to give us a chance at the Raven Lord. This is a rare drop mount that's going to come at about a 1 to 2% drop chance, so fairly low, and as it is a Heroic dungeon you can only run this once per character per day. So do make sure you're on Heroic, run inside and clear through the dungeon. There's nothing really special you need to know about this dungeon if you're a fairly highish level character, and if you're from like 80 onwards I don't see having any issues with this. But run through the dungeon until you reach the boss, the second to last boss, Anzu. It's a big bird, it looks pretty much like the mount. Kill that boss, there's no particular special way that you need to kill it, you just need to kill it on Heroic, and kill it on Heroic will give you a 1 to 2% chance of looting the Raven Lord. The next stop on our world tour is going to be Nagrand, and there's going to be a bunch of Talbuk mounts we can get from this zone from two different sources. The first one up is going to be your faction, so for a Horde that will be the Magha, and for Alliance that will be the Kuranai. You'll get to Exalted with this faction and you'll be able to purchase the 8 Talbuk mounts from your quartermaster from that village. To get started with this, for Horde you'll want to head to your village within Nagrand and find Duranai Deadeye, and he'll give you the quest Impotent Leader. If you've not done this before, this is basically the prerequisite to become neutral with the faction and begin doing the quests and be able to do the repeatable quests to get more reputation. For Alliance, you'll want to head more south. You'll find the Alliance base, and there you'll find Huntress Bintuk, and that will start the quest Do My Eyes Deceive Me. Now for both factions, I would recommend picking up the Soft Foam Sword, as this will allow you to get one of the NPCs to low HP without killing it, as you need to do that for the quest requirement. So it's going to help you a ton as a high level character. Once you're done with this little bit of a chain, you'll be sent back to the village and you'll now be able to do a bunch of quests. But there'll be one in particular that we're after. For Horde, that'll be from Warden Bullrock and that'll be proving your strength. For Alliance, that'll be from Warden Mubif Jill, and that'll be Fierce Enemies. I probably just absolutely butchered that name, but it's fine. Same difference. And that'll give you a quest to go and collect these war beads. You'll go and collect war beads from ogres. There's a bunch of different ogre camps within Nagrand. Head out there, kill ogres until you've collected enough. Head back and that'll give you a chunk of reputation. And from there, it's literally just repeating the steps over and over again, just getting war beads and war beads and war beads. And every time you hand in 10, you'll get 500 reputation. So it is going to take quite a few hand-ins to get yourself to Exalted. But it's a very relaxed grind, essentially. You'll just run around one-shotting ogres, looting them for war beads, and eventually you'll end up with enough to get you to Exalted. Once you're Exalted, you can pick up your 8 Talbuk mounts. The next 2 mounts we're going to get from Nagrand are both Talbuks again, and that is the Dark Riding Talbuk and the Dark War Talbuk. And these are a little bit more finicky, I say a little bit, quite a bit more finicky to get, as they come from Hala, which is a PvP based area within Nagrand, and not many people are doing PvP in Nagrand anymore, so it does make it a lot more difficult. But first of all, you'll need to take over Hala at some point, so I'll explain how that works now. Basically, Hala is a PvP area. You'll head in there with PvP flag on, and you'll kill off the opposite faction guards, if your faction doesn't currently control it, that is. Kill off all the guards and sit in the middle where the flag is. The flag will eventually tick over, and your faction will now control Hala. Eventually your NPCs will spawn in and you'll be good to go. Now, what you need to do to get these mounts is to collect 2 different types of tokens. The first one is the Hala Battle Token, which you only get from doing PvP in Nagrand. So unless you have a friend on the opposite faction that's willing to just let you kill them over and over again, and they put out, graveyard respawn or something along those lines, then you're not going to be getting these very easily. The other one is the Hala Research Token, which is basically from killing mobs. You'll get this dust. You'll be able to turn the dust in at Hala if your faction's controlling it, and you'll get the research tokens. Now there is an alternative, and the alternative is what I would recommend doing. The alternative is to go to Warlords of Draenor. Oh, that's kind of weird, I know. But if you go to your garrison in Warlords of Draenor, there is actually a mission that can appear on your mission table where you send off your followers. There'll be a mission that can appear that will give you 100 of the battle tokens and 40 of the research tokens. So you would only need to do that twice to have all the tokens you need to get these mounts. So I definitely would recommend any alts you've got, whatever, continuously go into your mission table, doing any of the rarer missions, getting those out the way so they can reset, and keep looking out for that mission that's going to give you the tokens, because that's going to be your easiest way of doing it. If not, I'd recommend checking out some discords or something and look for someone who's maybe willing to trade deaths. They'll kill you, get their 170 tokens, and then you'll kill them. Outside of that, you're probably not going to find enough people to kill, and then you've got to go grind the mobs for the research tokens as well, which is quite painful. The dust is fairly rare as well. So yeah, it's going to be a pain, but I definitely would recommend the Wall of the Draenor route. It might take you longer overall, but in terms of time invested, I think it'll save you a bunch of time. So either way, get your tokens, head back to Hala, make sure you're controlling it, and then you'll find an NPC off to the right hand side who will sell you the 2 mounts, and there you go. That's it. Next up, we want to head over to Xanga Marsh, and there we're going to find the faction, the Cenarian Expedition, and at Exalted with that faction we can get the Cenarian War Hippogriff. And this one is just a rinse and repeat of farming dungeons over and over again until you get Exalted, and then you'll be able to purchase the mount. So it's quite a relaxed one, and if you do like grinding dungeons, this one's going to be more for you. To get started with this, what you want to do is head over to the middle of the zone and head into the dungeon section, so the Coilfang Reservoir. You'll head down and inside there, and you'll find 4 different dungeon and raid entrances. You'll have the one on the far left, which is the slave pens, the one kind of just next to that, which is the steam vaults, the one to the right of that, which is going to be the raid, and then to the far right you're going to find the underbog. So what you'll want to do is run all 3 of the dungeons on heroic difficulty, because that is going to give you a massive amount of experience, so make sure you're killing every single mob you can see in all 3 of those heroic dungeons. Once you're done clearing on heroic, you'll want to head back outside, and then you'll want to either farm the steam vaults or the underbog. The underbog's a little bit more efficient because it's quicker to get out and reset the dungeon again. It's up to you though, you can farm the steam vaults or the underbog, completely down to you. And you will also get another reputation, or items to do another reputation from the underbog. So if you want to kind of double dip, you know, underbog is more efficient that way. Either way, keep farming your preferred dungeon, and eventually you'll get enough reputation to get Exalted. Now, one thing to note though, underbog won't get you to Exalted. It'll get you very close, it's like 1 rep away. And what you'll need to do is head inside steam vaults and kill a couple of mobs, and that will get you to Exalted. But pick your poison, farm your dungeon, and get to Exalted. If you do get locked out of your dungeons because you can only do 10 per hour, then you can head over to the Cenarian Refuge, which is over to the east of Xanga Marsh. There'll be a bunch of quests you can do with those guys, and that will also give you reputation. So it's something to do during the down period if you do get locked out of doing dungeons. And then continue your dungeon grind. Once you are done with the reputation, head back over to the Cenarian Refuge, and you'll find a quartermaster there that will sell you the mount. The final destination on our Outland tour is going to be Neverstorm, and from there we're going to be able to get the Ashes of Allah, which is one of the more sought after and kind of pretty looking mounts in the game. So from there we're going to go to the east side of Neverstorm, and you'll find the Tempest Keep set of dungeons and raid. And what we want is the massive structure in the middle called the Eye, and that is going to be the raid that will give us the mount. So you're going to head up there, you're going to head inside, there's no difficulty or raid size, it's just one default setting, so it doesn't matter what you set to, just head inside and you'll be set to the one that you need to be on. And we need to kill the last boss, but luckily we don't need to kill any of the other bosses to get to the last boss. So you can head inside, you can run through the trash or pull it, it's up to you, it doesn't really matter. Head around the left side and go past Allah, and then pick a corridor, either the left or right one, it doesn't matter. But before you go fully down the corridor, you can take either a right or a left, and that will take you to Kel'Thas's room, which is going to be the last boss of the raid. So head inside there, and once you're there, you can kill off the trash in the room if you want to, it doesn't really matter. But what you want to do is pull the boss, and you're going to have to go through a few different steps. So first of all, you'll have to kill all the lieutenants one at a time, go through all of those. They do have some annoying debuffs and effects, like there'll be a stun one that'll stun you every few seconds. There'll be a knockdown one, so just try and get them killed as quickly as possible to avoid the annoying debuffs and effects. The quicker you kill them, the less chance they're actually going to do them to you. As a 120 or even like 110, 100 character, they should instantly die. Once they're all dead, there'll be a bunch of weapons that'll spawn quite a bit later. You have to wait for kind of like the internal timer, so don't worry if nothing's happening. A bunch of weapons will spawn, you'll kill the weapons, and then once again you've got to wait, and then all 4 lieutenants will be resurrected. You'll kill them again as quickly as possible. I would recommend focusing down the engineer, the guy who's in the hunter gear, as that guy is the annoying one with the stun, but they're all kind of annoying in their own way anyway. And then once all 4 of them are dead, then you can start beating on Kel'Thas, who will then also phase change again, which you have to wait for. And then once he's finally dead, it's quite a long fight just due to the annoying mechanics and the timers. But once he's dead, you'll be able to loot him for around a 2% chance of getting Ashes of Allah. And that does bring us to the end of this World of Warcraft mount farm tour of Outlands. As I mentioned before, we have covered 2 different continents previously, so if you did miss those, I would recommend checking out the video, because it's very similar to this one where we run through all the different mounts from each of the little sub areas, and you can figure out what you need to get and what you don't need to get. Either way though, I hope this video was interesting or helpful to you in some way, shape or form. Look out for more videos coming soon. Thanks for watching guys, see ya!